Welcome back to the second half of the Principles of Correct Practice for Guitar presentation. In the first half, we covered almost all of the dynamics of right hand use. We're going to finish up with the finger dipping exercises, which will prepare us for use of the right hand in free stroke. And then we're going to look at all of the fundamental dynamics of building the foundation of our left hand technique. And here we go. Now go into the cup, breathe and relax. Look down at your hand and focus on the fingers, especially the fingertips. Feel them on the strings. Now take the fingers off very slightly. Keep them extremely close to the strings, each fingertip dipped into the strings. Pose here. Breathe and relax and rotate your attention throughout your body, especially the shoulder, arm, and hand. Now place the fingers lightly back on the strings and then off again. This should be done every day and at random. Now place the fingers on the strings lightly in the cup position, look down at them, and slowly remove the thumb from its string. Let's fake the motion of striking the string free stroke with the thumb by slowly passing the thumb over the fourth string, just missing it. You can see that it's easy to keep the hand and other fingers in position while doing this, because since we're not hitting the string, the other muscles do not have to react to the string pushing at the thumb. That's why this is a good starting point, because it gives us the feeling of using the thumb without losing the hand position. Now we will gradually accustom the hand and upper body to make the proper adjustments to keep the hand stable when we do strike the strings. And here's how we'll do it. We place the thumb back on the fourth string and slowly, very slowly, apply slight pressure to the string. Pay great attention to the shoulder area as you do this. You'll feel it reacting to the pressure by tightening up a bit. That's okay, it has to do that, but we want the minimum of tightening. So relax with this pressure applied as much as you can, and also check the rest of your body for any extraneous tension. Now stop the pressure and return to a fully relaxed state you were in before applying the pressure. This little procedure should also be done every day and at random to put you more in touch with your body, and especially the shoulder area. Now we're going to apply the pressure again and increase it until we push through the string. Our goal is to remain as stable as possible in the hand so that the other fingers are not jarred out of position by any reaction to the action of the thumb. So look down at your hand, apply gradual pressure with the thumb, stop, pose, relax, keep the other fingers lightly on the strings, and then push through with the thumb. Do that as part of your regular practice routine if you're working to develop your fingerstyle playing, or if you're working to rid yourself of problems with your right hand use. Make sure you watch your hands when you practice this directly and in a mirror. The goal is to keep the fingers steady into the strings as the thumb is used and to not lose the position in some way with the fingers. Now we'll do this exercise with the fingers off the strings, but dipped in closely between them. It'll be much more challenging to keep a stable hand position now. Take your fingers off the strings, keep them extremely close and dipped in between the strings. Fake a stroke first with the thumb, passing it over the string slowly. Now touch the thumb to the string, watch the fingertips, hold them steady. Begin to apply pressure slowly with the thumb, feel the shoulder relax it. Now I'm going to push through and keep my fingertips steady in between. Okay, I'm going to do that again. A touch, begin to apply pressure, relax, my fingertips are going to stay steady, dipped in between. Now it may be difficult to achieve steadiness in the hand at first, but keep practicing this and follow the instructions to the letter, and it will get easier and you will gain more control. Now we will do finger dipping with the fingers, but first we need to talk about free stroke with the fingers. Whereas rest strokes are generally used to get a heavier sound, which we often want when playing single melody notes like this, For playing things like arpeggios, which are usually light and often quick, it's the free stroke that's used. Free stroke and rest stroke are often used together when playing a melody over arpeggios, as in something like the Spanish Romance. In this, I'm doing a rest stroke with my ring finger and free stroke with index and middle. Now, free stroke is what most people who would call themselves finger pickers are really doing, although they are often doing it in a less than ideal way. Free stroke, along with rest stroke, are the two basic types of strokes in classical guitar technique. There are ways of training the fingers to be able to play very fast arpeggios easily. Although this level of development is required for playing the classical guitar, I recommend this approach and this training for anyone interested in playing fingerstyle. It's simply the best way to use the hand for maximum results on the guitar. Now, the relationship of the finger to the string is very different for free stroke as opposed to rest stroke. Free stroke means that after we strike the string, the finger will sail past the string behind and not come to rest on it as with a rest stroke. So before the finger strikes, it must be in a different position in relation to the string. So now we're going to get into that position. Okay, from rest stroke position like this, the hand lowers down a slight bit toward the floor so that the middle knuckle of the finger we're going to use is just below the string it's going to strike. In other words, if I imagine a straight line from my knuckle here to the string that it's going to play on, that line should go into the guitar underneath the string that the finger is going to play. So if I were at a 90-degree angle with that knuckle, I'd be like this, and the line would be going straight into the string. I want that knuckle to be lower, so a straight line would go below that string. So if I'm going to play on the third string, the straight line, the knuckle would be over the second string. This way, I'll be able to originate my stroke from the big knuckle and be able to clear that string behind. Now, I suggest you check yourself in the same way. This necessary position of the finger for free stroke is one of those things that people often have wrong and don't know it. They think they're making the movement from this knuckle, but they're really doing it from the middle knuckle. Now, here's another good way to make sure you're originating the stroke from the big knuckle. In order to get the right feeling in the finger for playing the free stroke on the third string, take your finger, in this case the index finger, and flex it back to the fourth string, actually placing your fingernail on the string. Pose for a second and feel how that feels. Relax your shoulder and feel that finger flexing back, and it forces you to really flex from the big knuckle. And even though it's a bit of an exaggeration of the feeling you should have in the finger when doing a free stroke, it really gets you used to that finger. So you take the finger from its normal position and slowly move it back to there. Now do this with the other fingers, and do it at random until the feeling and the action become second nature. What you don't want is for the finger to kick outward like this when you play. You want the finger to move backward toward the palm with the movement originating from the big knuckle. We keep the fingertip itself low to the string, so we're not going to let it come up high into the palm. The finger's going to go backward, low to the strings, and I really feel that stretch in that knuckle. Okay, now that we know how to position ourselves, we'll practice free strokes with one finger while the other fingers remain in position dipped in between the strings. So, go into the cup, look down at the hand, and check for the V between the thumb and fingers. Make sure your thumb isn't in like that, it's going to be out. Make sure your fingers are in light contact with the strings. Look down at the hand and begin to apply slight pressure with the index to the third string. Feel the shoulder as you apply this pressure and relax. You can see me pushing the string a little. Watch the hand and look for any signs of tension or tightening coming into the other fingers and pulling them out of position. Okay, like that. As I begin to press, I have to keep everything relaxed. I have to especially look for tension in these muscles here, between the thumb and the index. We're going to push through the string and make a note, and we will have the finger end up with a nail touching the string behind as before, exaggerating the action to make sure we get the right feeling in the finger. So get ready to push through the string. I'm pushing, my hands relaxed, I breathe, I'm relaxing the shoulder, and now I'm going to push through the string and have the finger end up with the top of the nail on the string behind, my other fingers relaxed in position. Now we'll do that action without placing the nail, which is of course how we'll actually play when we play. So here I go, I'm going to push, I'm going to sail past that next string, keeping it low to the string. Now let's try this with the fingers slightly off and dipped. So instead of the fingers touching, they're going to be slightly off the strings. Have all the fingertips floating, watch the hand, and first though, let's fake the motion with the index. So I'm off the string slightly, I'm going to just go above the string with the index like this, which is always a good thing to do. Now I'm going to sound the note with the index, so I'm going to touch the string, apply gradual pressure, relax, push through, keeping everything else quiet. Notice my fingertips still quiet and dipped in between the strings. Look out for anything that looks like that, or the whole hand going out. Now, do it one more time. Relax the shoulder and arm, gradual pressure, relax, push through. Now let's go on to the middle. The middle is the most difficult to do while keeping the others quiet. However, the ability to make this stroke with the middle while keeping the others quiet, especially the index, is one of the most important skills to acquire in order to have access to the higher levels of right hand ability. Now watch me first. Here I am, swinging the middle back and forth as the other fingers stay quietly in touch with their strings. Okay, now let's do this together. Go into the cup, breathe and relax. Feel your shoulder and let your attention go down from the shoulder to the fingertips. Feel your index on the string and mentally prepare to do a fake stroke with the middle. In fact, watch me do it first to help you prepare, and then we'll do it together. I'm moving the middle back and I'm keeping my index in light contact with the third string. I'm feeling my shoulder and entire arm very intensely right now and letting them go continuously. If I feel some tension or a little bit of wiggling or tensing in my index or the hand itself, I'll stop, pose, breathe, and relax. I'm going to bring the middle forward. Now this is the really difficult move. As I bring that middle finger forward, you might feel the hand really start to react here. I often get some wiggling and tensing in the index, especially at the point where the middle passes the index. Pay special attention to the index staying as relaxed as it can as the middle passes. You'll find great tension building up in the muscle right here, and you'll see the index stick out this way with tension. Pose and relax that as much as you can. Try to feel as if the middle simply pushes a very limp index finger out of the way as it passes. If it wiggles, no big deal, just relax into it. I've gotten much more control over the years doing this exercise every day, and so will you. The amazing thing is how this translates into relaxed control and great speed as you work it up with the basic practice approach. Now, we'll release the fingers and keep them dipped and floating and fake a stroke with the middle. So I'm off the strings, okay, and I'm faking that stroke with the middle, keeping the other fingers quiet and over their strings. Now, we'll actually play the string. Touch the middle to the second string, apply pressure slowly, relax, look at the other fingers with the pressure applied. You stop and check the other fingers, make sure they're relaxed and still dipped in between the strings. Now we're going to push through with the finger, doing our best to keep the fingertips stable and relaxed in between the strings. So I touch with a light finger, the other fingers are over their strings, I begin to apply pressure, and I play the note. Good. Now spend a few minutes every day with that exercise, and then we'll go to the ring finger. Special problem with the ring finger is that often a student will not have the hand positioned low enough to pass over the string with a finger, and it will hit the next string. So we really have to make sure that that middle knuckle is below, okay, that the middle knuckle here is below the string that we're going to play. In this case, the first string. So I have to be down enough, and that knuckle straight line drawn here would go down below the string. Here's the right position. I'll move my other fingers just out of the way so you can see that with the finger. That's the action of the finger going over the string. Okay, now do it with me. Into the cup, all fingers in light contact with the strings. Make sure the position is correct. Check the middle knuckle. And now, first fake a few with that ring finger, passing over the second string. Now let the fingers and thumb float in between the strings, and then touch with the ring. Apply gradual pressure. Relax, push through. Watching the fingertips and the thumb. Now we're going to put all that together into the basic four-note arpeggio. We're going to start in the cup position, then play the thumb, index, middle, and ring one after another. And our goal is to use each finger absolutely correctly while keeping the fingers not being used in position and relaxed, waiting its turn. If we do this, our hand will be in the same position when we're finished as when we began. Now first, we'll walk through this no tempo. I'm going to speak out loud what is going on in my mind when I do this no tempo, and this is what should be going on in your mind also. You must learn to do just what I am doing. You must establish perfection in these movements with no tempo so that they can be worked up using the metronome with a basic practice approach. So here we go into the cup, and breathe and relax. Okay, I'm in the cup position. I check to make sure I have the V with my thumb and my index finger. And now I'm going to use my thumb. I feel my whole body first, then my arm, then my hand. I watch my whole hand as I touch with the thumb. I have my fingertips steady, dipped in between the strings as the thumb begins to apply pressure. Now I'm applying pressure with the thumb, and I'm going to push through, keeping my fingers steady, dipped in. I now recheck my body, and especially the shoulders, and relax them again. If my fingers went out of position, if this happened, or some variation of that, I fix them before proceeding. So let's assume I've successfully played my thumb, kept my fingers steady. Now I'm going to get ready to use the index. I breathe, I feel the body and shoulder and arm, I watch the fingertips, I touch with the index, I apply pressure, other finger steady, I push through and relax, and then return the index. Now the middle. I breathe, feel the body, the shoulder and arm, I watch the fingertips, touch with the index, touch with the middle, apply pressure, push through, and relax as the middle returns. I'm going to do the middle again. And now the ring finger. I breathe, feel the body, shoulder and arm, watch the fingertips, touch with the ring finger, apply pressure, push through, other fingers are steady, and I return the ring finger. Now, if you did everything correctly, you'll look the same at the end as at the beginning. Do this every day, no tempo, just as we did now. Now for the 6-note arpeggio. Do everything the same way as for the 4-note arpeggio, but when you play the ring finger, touch the second string with the middle finger. As the middle finger plays, you'll touch the index to the third string, and as the index plays, touch the thumb back to its bass note. Here it is slow, the 6-note arpeggio, starting from the thumb. And here it is medium speed and faster. Now obviously these movements will provide the basis for all arpeggio patterns done with chords when you finger them. So those finger dipping exercises and these, the 4 and 6-note arpeggio, are the keys to freedom in the right hand for all finger picking arpeggio patterns. Okay, we're going to put these free stroke movements together into some of the common finger picking patterns used in playing all styles of guitar, what I've referred to in my book as the bouncing thumb with arpeggios. Now here's the pattern we will do played slowly. Holding a G chord. We'll do a thumb movement combined with notes played on the upper strings. This is a common finger picking pattern used in song accompaniment patterns as well as lots of solo pieces. It's a thumb, index, middle, index pattern. Thumb, index, middle, index. Now here it is fast, the thumb traveling around, and then we're going to take it apart and do it slowly. Now as I do it, notice how everything stays in place as I play, with a high degree of relaxation as I move. Now you'll be able to do this also if you keep practicing correctly, using the basic practice approach, no tempo practice at the beginning, just as I have in my book. Now we're going to look at each finger movement separately. Get into position by placing the index on the 2nd string, the middle on the 1st, and the thumb on the 3rd string. Now, begin pressure with the thumb on the 3rd string. Oh, and I'll hold the G chord on my left hand. Begin pressure with the thumb on the 3rd string, push through, and begin to circle the thumb back to the 6th string, like the thumb up exercise, staying relaxed. Just as the thumb is circling back though, I'm going to play the index free stroke, followed by the middle on the 1st string, and then followed by another index stroke. By the time the index plays the 2nd time, your thumb should be back on the 6th string. So your hand should look like this now, the fingers in position and the thumb back on the 6th string. Now pressure with the thumb, push through, relax the thumb, come to rest on the 5th string while the index plays, then middle, then index. Now the thumb plays the 5th string, then index, middle, index. Now the thumb plays the 4th string, index, middle, index, and back to the thumb plays the 3rd string. So let's look at that whole thing again slowly. Thumb going back to 6, 5th, now that should be done extremely slowly, no tempo, with all the other exercises preceding it. Experiment with different string combinations in the bass. Try it out with chords you know, creating alternate basses. So, for instance, you could use a D chord, 4th and 5th, C chord, 5th and 4th, and so forth. A, B. Now we're going to begin training of the left hand. As with the right hand, we'll first deal with the arm itself and the larger muscles that position the arm before we deal with the hand and fingers themselves. As with the right hand, if there is trouble in the upper arm, there will be lots of trouble in the fingers also. Most guitar methods, because they ignore this fact and start you down on the neck at the first fret with the arm extended, guarantee that you will have this trouble in the upper arm and also in your fingers. Understand first of all that the muscles which are connected to your upper arm bone, called the humerus, are located in your upper and lower back, in your sides, as well as in the shoulder area. So in this sense, you play the guitar with your entire upper torso. From the elbow on down is where all the actual control of your fingers takes place, but you will not have control over this area if you don't have control over the upper area as well. So we will develop that first, and we begin with discovering the floating arm with the balloon exercise. Hold the guitar comfortably and position the right hand either in the cup or holding a pick. And if you're holding a pick, keep it resting lightly on the third string. Have your left arm hanging loosely at your side. Check your body and your breathing, your sitting position. Now, keeping your attention in your body, begin to raise your left arm, bending at the elbow, but keeping the arm close into the body. Focus on the shoulder as you do this, keeping it as relaxed as you can as you move. Bring the hand close to the neck and touch your middle finger to the thumb. Now separate them and keep the thumb in line with the middle finger as you place the thumb behind the neck. And lightly place your middle finger on the 6th string, somewhere up on the neck, around maybe the 10th fret, with no pressure whatsoever on the string, just the weight of your finger, just barely touching. I always think of the image of those bugs that walk on the surface of the water in ponds and lakes. I think of my fingers as being that light. Or if you don't like bugs, think of butterflies landing on flowers. That's a little more pleasant. Now, I'm touching with a light finger, and now I lift the middle finger off slightly from the string, and then I touch it to the string again. On, off, very lightly. This is great training for the fingers to get the feeling of the light finger, and it's called finger flapping. So this should be done at random times during practice and in random situations to reinforce the feeling of the lightness in the fingers, especially at times when an inactive finger is tensing in sympathy with an active one. In that case, flap the inactive finger that would otherwise tense if left to itself. Okay, so this is the light finger. It's extremely important that you're familiar with this feeling of the light finger. Your fingers will always be alternating between this light finger and the firm finger, which comes next. Many people play for years and have never had this light finger because the first time they touched the guitar, it was with a tight and tense finger, and it never changed. So realize that now that you have the floating arm and the light finger, this means that your arm is being held up by the muscular effort of many large muscles, including the deltoids, pecs, and biceps. It's a lot of work to do this, and especially to do it with steadiness. Now, it's even harder to maintain this steadiness once we begin to use the fingers. In fact, it's absolutely impossible to do this and maintain the relaxation in the larger muscles that allow for the steadiness when the fingers are being trained for the first time. That's why the fingers, when first being trained, must be developed by little baby steps, and at each step of the way, the awareness of the larger muscles of the upper body must be maintained. We must frequently check in with them using rotating attention and following where necessary. Now let's get back to the light finger. We want to develop a great sensitivity to the light finger and all the gradations of gradual muscle contraction as we begin to apply force to the string. To accomplish this, let's do some finger flapping with string pushdowns. Now, I'm in position. I have my middle finger lightly on the string. I'll do a few more finger flaps to get the right feeling. Okay. And now I'm going to slowly push the string down toward the fret, but only halfway. Okay, now you want to look at the space between the string and the fret as you do this, and watch to see that you only push the string down halfway. Now, it's down halfway, and I let it back up again. Now halfway down again, and up, and now I'm going to push it so that it just makes contact with the fret. Now, with it down touching the fret, this is the bare minimum pressure needed to get the string to the fret and get a clear note. This awareness of minimum pressure is one of the most important things you can develop that will ensure your ability to make continuous growth as a player. So work on developing it further every day by doing the string push-down exercise. You can do it with each of the fingers. Now, keeping the middle finger lightly touching the string, let's stretch out the index a bit to the 9th fret, just lightly touching it. And notice that the index leans to the left as it goes down. It goes down on the side of the tip. Also notice the little bit of tension that probably is occurring throughout the forearm, shoulder, and body as you make this little move with the index. Notice it and relax it. Hold the index on the string a moment, pose, breathe, and relax. Now do a string push down with the index and release. Now holding the index and middle on the string, reach out the 3rd finger to its fret, touch the string, do a little push down and release. Check the body, breathe, and relax. Now I have these 3 fingers on, I'm going to reach out with the little finger. Notice that the little finger goes down on the right side of the fingertip. Be very careful to place the fingertip so that the distal joint, the last joint of the finger, actually bends. That's true with each finger. Very often, especially in the beginning, the finger will want to go down flat like that. Don't allow that. Make it bend on any of the fingers. If you see your index flattening out on the distal joint, make sure it comes up a bit and gets that bend there. Now I do a string push down with the little finger. Halfway, all the way, release. Again, halfway, all the way, release. Now I have all 4 fingers on the string with a light finger being supported by the floating arm. This position is called all aboard with the light fingers and the floating arm. Now we will practice moving across the strings with the light fingers and the floating arm. If you're doing fingerstyle, get into the cup position for the right hand and then place the thumb on the 6th string and take the fingertips slightly off the strings. As we go across the strings with the left hand for this exercise, we'll just follow along with the thumb, or if you feel you can handle it, you can strike the strings. Okay? We'll be training the right arm to move the hand in coordination with the left hand. If you're using a pick, you can either just hold the pick on the strings as we go, begin by holding it on the 6th string, and move it from string to string as we go, or you can try sounding the notes. Although with this exercise, the notes will be dead because they'll be dead notes like that because we're not pressing the strings down. Now let's start from our position of all aboard, and now we're going to drag the index finger over to the 5th string, just grazing along the string, not even lifting the finger. Make sure you keep the distal joint bent as the finger finds its place on the 5th string. Don't let that joint go flat like that. Now bring all the other fingers over as well, all together in a group. As you bring the fingers over, bring the right hand thumb or pick, if you're using that, along as well. We're going to make sure we keep the fingers spread out from each other so that the fingertips reach the frets, and we're also going to make sure that the fingers stay curled enough at each new string to be going down on the tips. But other than the effort required to do that, we keep the fingers as light and relaxed as possible, and the rest of the body as well. Now let's bring the index to the 4th string, followed by the rest of the fingers and the lowering of the right hand. Now the 3rd string, the rest of the fingers come over and the right hand lowers. Now the 2nd string, distal joints bent, the rest of the fingers come over, lower the right hand. Finally to the 1st string, the rest of the fingers and lowering the right hand. Now we're going to go back to the 6th string, leading with the index on the 2nd, followed by the other fingers. Check your breathing in your body, move the right hand, thumb or pick to the 2nd string. Now index to the 3rd string, followed by the others, and the move of the right hand. Up, down if you need to. Now index to the 4th string, followed by the others, and move the right hand. Now index to the 5th string, followed by the others, move the right hand. Now finally index to the 6th string, followed by the others, and move the right hand. You may feel your thumb in the back making a slight adjustment as you go from the 6th to the 1st, but only a slight adjustment. It'll stay still centered in behind the middle finger. We will now discover the sensations of the heavy arm and the firm finger. Now these are the opposite of the floating arm and the light finger. You will constantly be shifting between these states with the arm and the individual fingers as you play. Having control over the alternations and variations of these opposing conditions in the muscles leads to mastery of the instrument on a technical level. First, let's get the sensation of the heavy arm without the guitar. Grab the fingers of your left hand with your right hand. Pretend your left arm is dead weight, like a big leg of beef that you're going to pick up with your right hand. And now pick up the dead weight and feel it hanging there. Shake it around a bit and let it drop into your lap, like that. Now, if this happens when you let go, then you didn't let go. And that actually happens with some people. Okay, because some people simply don't know the feeling of relaxing certain muscles. They've never really done it or had to do it. It's not a big deal. You can develop the feeling and the ability. Keep practicing that simple exercise we just did if you need to, until you can get your whole arm to just feel like that when you let go. Now let's discover the firm finger. Hold out your right hand like this, palm up, tap your left index finger into your palm. Now this tapping finger is the light finger. Now firm up your finger so that it can hold your arm in place even if you relax your shoulder and get the heavy arm. So if my shoulder is relaxed so that I have the heavy arm, I let my finger be light. If I were to let my finger be light like this, of course it would just slip like that. If I firm up my finger, it'll hold the arm in place even if my shoulder's relaxed. So I can really feel the weight of my arm coming through, pressing onto my hand. And that's the important thing here, that the firm finger is directing the weight of my arm into one point, the fingertip, which is then pressing with the force of that weight into my palm, centered in that spot that the fingertip is touching. Now, this is how we're going to use the weight of the arm itself to accomplish a lot of the work of actually getting the strings to the frets when we play. When we're trained this way, as everyone should be from the beginning, we'll be able to develop a technique for playing the guitar that is as effortless as possible, because our wise use of such things as gravity and momentum will be working with us and for us. Now let's apply this to the guitar. Let's get these same sensations with our fingers on the strings. We're going to go into the cup, the thumb on the 6th string, or the pick if you're using that. We'll begin with the balloon exercise again, starting with our left arm down at our side and slowly raising it to the neck. Touch the middle finger to the thumb, place the light middle finger on the 6th string. Now, do a string push down with the middle finger and get the string down to the fret. This now is the firm finger, but we haven't released the upper arm muscles, so we still have the floating arm. Keep the firm finger with the string pressed to the fret, and now begin to release the muscles of the upper arm. Let the weight of the arm be directed through your finger and onto the string. The same feeling we had before when we picked up the arm. If the other fingers start to get into the act, tense up and squeeze against the middle finger. Stop, separate them gently. Don't let them squeeze together. Those fingers are light now. Okay, we might do some finger flapping here. While they're still light, I'm going to place them on the string also at their respective frets. Now I'm going to make them firm and have the arm weight come through all the fingers. This is a very solid feeling now, with the firm fingers all spread on the string and the weight of the arm coming through them. I'm let go up here. Okay, this is all aboard with the firm fingers and the heavy arm. Now we're going to move across the strings with a heavy arm and the firm fingers. However, when a finger actually moves, it will become light during the move and then firm after it positions itself. So let's begin from the position we're in, all aboard with the firm fingers and heavy arm. Now, let the first finger become light while the others remain firm. Now drag the first finger over to the next string, push the string down, make the finger firm. Now direct all of your arm weight into that first finger and make the other three fingers light and let them release off the string. In fact, allow the string tension itself to push the fingers up rather than feeling like you're lifting them only with your own effort. Let them rise slightly off the string and move over to the next string. They're all light as they touch the next string, the fifth string. They start to push the string down as they become firm, and then the arm weight is directed through each of the fingers. At this point, check your breath and the entire body, relaxing everything. Now you can bring your right hand along, thumb or pick, to the fifth string. So now I'm back to the heavy arm, all aboard, firm fingers. Now we'll repeat this procedure as we move across the other strings. Index releases, moves to the next string, gets firm. The other three fingers are pushed up by the string and move over to the next string. They touch the string, they get firm and push the string down. The arm weight comes through them. Check the breath and the body. Bring your right hand along, thumb or pick to the fourth string. Onto the third string. Index releases, moves to the next string, gets firm. The other three fingers are pushed up by the string, move over to the next string. They touch the string, they get firm and push the string down. Arm weight comes through them, we check our breath in the body. I bring the right hand along to the third string. Make sure those distal joints are bent. Make sure you still have the bend in those last joint of the finger. Onto the second string. Index releases, moves to the next string, gets firm. The other three fingers are pushed up by the string, move over to the next string. They touch the string, get firm, push the string down. Arm weight comes through them, we check the breath and the body. Bring your right hand along to the second string. Finally, the first string. Index releases, moves to the next string, gets firm. Other three fingers are pushed up by the string, move over to the next string. They touch the string, get firm, push the string down. Now the arm weight comes through them, we check our breath and body, bring your right hand along, thumb or pick to the first string. When you do this on your own, go back down to the sixth string also. These two exercises, the crutch with a floating arm and light fingers, and the crutch with a heavy arm and firm fingers, should be done at each fret down to the first as you feel ready to handle each fret. The lower you go on the neck, and that means in the direction of the nut down here, it becomes more difficult for the left hand because the frets are further apart and because the arm is out from the body. It takes more control to stay relaxed throughout the body and to keep the fingers separated from each other and going on to the tips behind each fret. So work down gradually depending on your level of development. First here, third fret. If you have small hands or are a beginner, work with these exercises very gradually. If it takes you 3 months to get to the first fret, that's okay. It's better than rushing things and building in problems that will plague your playing for the rest of your life. When you're down at the first fret, notice when I'm here on the sixth string, and this is about the hardest position to be in, way up and over with the first finger, bent at the distal joint there, up and over with the fourth finger, and space between the hand and the guitar. Now we'll build further on what we've accomplished so far. We're going to start to train individual fingers to move across the strings in pairs. This is basic training for the fingers and a prelude to doing scales and other more complicated movements. So let's get into position. Use the cup, thumb on the sixth string, or into the pick position with the right hand and arm. I'll do the exercise with the pick. I place my pick on the sixth string and my left hand is all aboard on the sixth string, seventh fret. Use a higher fret if you need to in order to get your fingers stretched out behind the frets. Now it's no pressure on the strings, just light fingers. I check them for lightness by pushing the string down halfway and letting the string tension push my fingers back up. I'm going to keep the floating arm and the light fingers for this exercise, and I'm going to walk across the strings with fingers 1 and 4, keeping them light the whole time, not even pressing down the strings, just lightly resting on them. The purpose of this is to make you extremely sensitive to the light finger while the fingers are in action. First, I have to lift fingers 2, 3, and 4 slightly off the string and let them float over the string, but keeping it real close. I have to do this since I'm going to play the first finger note. I play the first finger note, circle my pick back over the string. The note's a dead one because the string is not pressed to the fret. Now I'm going to place my fourth finger on its note, but I'm not going to lift my first finger. Don't lift up 1 just because 4 goes down. I'm going to leave it down in its light condition as I place my fourth finger on the string. I stop, relax, and breathe. I have to be on the lookout also for my second and third finger rising in the air as I move my fourth finger. This happens all the time, in fact almost 100% of the time, unless it's already been trained out of the hand. So pay great attention to this and don't let the second or third finger rise in the air during this 1-4 exercise. I'm also going to make sure that my fourth finger bends at the distal joint, even though I'm not going to press the string down. Okay, joint right there. Make sure it has a bend in it. Check the shoulders for relaxation. Bending the distal joint of the little finger often causes the shoulders to tense. Now I'm ready. I'm going to play the fourth finger note. Okay, I let the pick play the note and then rest over the fifth string, waiting for the next note. Now I drag my first finger over to the fifth string. I'll keep my fourth finger down on its note, but once my first is in position, I lift the fourth finger slightly, drag it over, position to the fifth string, and now I'm ready. I'll play the first finger note. Now I touch my fourth finger to the string and I play it. I keep my first finger down as I do this, as well as keeping the second and the third low. Now I'm going to go across the rest of the strings in the same way. Index drags over, pick positions, 4 lifts, and moves over. Now I play 1. I touch 4 and I play it. Index drags over, pick positions, 4 lifts, moves over, I play 1. I touch 4 to the string and I play it. Now index drags over, pick positions, 4 lifts, moves over, I play 1. I touch 4 and I play. Index drags over, right thumb positions, 4 lifts, moves over, I play 1. I touch 4 and play. Now we're going to go back. 1 drags over to the second, 4 lifts, places over its fret on the second string, I position the pick, I play 1. I touch 4, I play 4. 1 drags over to the third, I lift 4, position it, I play 1. I touch with 4 and I play 4. I drag 1 to the fourth string, position the pick, lift 4, position it, play 1. Now I touch 4 and I play 4. Look down at the pick if you need to make sure it's positioned right. I drag 1 to the fifth string, I lift and position 4, I position the pick, I play. I touch 4 and I play 4. I drag 1 to the sixth string, position the pick, lift 4, play 1. Touch with the fourth finger and play 4. Good. Now we're going to do fingers 1 and 3. The focus here though will be on the inactive finger, the one we're not using, the little finger. We want to keep this finger as independent and unaffected by the movement of the third finger as we can, and this is a major problem for many players. Many players never really conquer the little finger and even regard it as impossible. Now obviously this is not true, as we can see so many players have already conquered it, and you can be one of them, and you will be one of them if you keep practicing everything on this presentation correctly and consistently. So let's do that. We get all aboard on the sixth string, I'm at the 7th fret, floating arm and light fingers. We keep the index on and we raise 2, 3, and 4 again. Now, let's practice placing 3 and keeping 4 quiet. The secret here is to begin to train these fingers without using any finger pressure with 3, as we're doing here with the light fingers. Because we're keeping the muscular effort out of it, the 4th finger will not react, or will react only slightly, enough for us to control it. So let's do that. Touch the string with a light 3rd finger while we watch the 4 and keep it quiet. Pay attention to the body and the breath now as we do this a few times. Just touch with your 3rd finger, watch your 4th finger, and keep it very close to the string. If it flies away like that, you have to stop, focus, keep it in close as 3 just lightly touches, not putting any pressure down. Now, we're going to walk across the strings with the light fingers and a floating arm using 1 and 3. Get the pick positioned or your thumb. Ready, play 1. Now touch 3 to the string, keep 1 in place and 4 quiet. Touch lightly with 3 and play it. Now drag 1 over, keeping 3 in place until 1 is positioned. Now I release 3, I keep it low, I bring it over to the string and position the pick, I play 1. Pressed a little too hard there. Okay, play 1. Now touch 3 to the string, keep it in place, and 4 quiet beside it. Touch lightly with 3, 4 quiet, play 3. Drag 1 over to the 4th string, keep 3 in its place till 1 gets there. Now I release 3, I keep it low, bring it into position over the 4th string. It's waiting above the fret. I'll check everything, relax my shoulders again, pick is positioned. I'm going to play 1. Now I touch 3 to the string. I'm going to watch my 4th finger, keep it close to the string, touch lightly with 3, 4 close, and I play 3. Now I drag 1 over to the next string, 3's down still lightly. When 1 is in place, I release the 3, keep it low, bring it into position over the 3rd string, waiting above the fret. Pick is positioned, I play 1. Now I'm going to touch 3 to the string, keep 1 in place, 4 quiet, and I play 3. Now I drag 1 over to the 2nd string, keep 3 in place until 1 has found the string. Then I release 3, keep it low, bring it into position, check that 4th finger, play the 1st finger. Now touch with 3 and play. Now 1 moves over to the 1st string, still have 3 down, I release 3 once I get there. When 1 is in place, I check 3 and 4 to keep them low, over the string. I'm ready to play the 1st finger, I play it. Now I'm going to touch 3 to the string, keeping 1 in place and 4 quiet. I touch lightly with 3 and I play 3. Now I'm going to walk you back. We lead with 1 to the new string. I'll say place 1, play, place 3, play as we move across. Remember to keep 4 still and quiet as we go. Okay, so here we go. Place 1, play. Place 3, play. 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 Now we're going to do fingers 1 and 2. At this point, 1 and 2 will be rather easy. We move in the same manner, and one of our goals is to keep 3 and 4 quiet over their frets as we go, as relaxed as possible, but separated from one another. Now, let's get all aboard on the 6th string again. We lift 2, 3, and 4, position the pick or your thumb. Now, I play 1, I place 2. Play 2, and now I release 1, bring it to the next string. Play, position, touch with 2, play, place 1 on the 4th string, play, touch with 2, play, next string, place 1, play, touch with 2, play, release 1, bring it over, play, place 2, play, bring 1 over, I'm at the 1st string now, play, touch with 2, play. Watching all the time to keep those fingers 3 and 4 close to the string. Now I'm going to walk back. I'll say touch, play, and touch and play as we move. Here I go. Touch with 1, play, touch with 2, play, touch with 1, play, touch with 2, play, touch with 1, play, 2, play, touch with 1, play, touch with 2, play, touch with 1, I'm on the 6th string now, play, touch with 2, play. Now we'll do the ladder exercise, using the heavy arm and the firm fingers, walking across the strings, pressing the strings to the frets, and getting full notes when we play. Then releasing the finger that plays and making it light as the next finger plays. Now this is what you'll be doing in actual playing. So let's get into position. Into the cup, thumb on the 6th string, or using a pick. I'll be using the thumb in this exercise. Okay, I'm going to get all aboard on the 7th fret, bring my thumb to the 6th string, and you use a higher fret if you need to in order to get your fingers behind the frets. I make my fingers firm, I relax my shoulder, I feel the arm weight come through the fingers into the strings. Now I make 2, 3, and 4 light and let them rise slightly. My arm weight's directed through my 1st finger now as the others remain light over the frets. Now, this is going to be a process of alternating between firm and light with each pair of fingers, similar to what we do when we walk. When we walk, we lighten one leg, swing it through the air, place it on the ground, make it firm, and then swing our weight onto that leg, while the other one gets light and swings forward. And this is what we'll do. Now, releasing each finger is critical and most often overlooked. Remember, the fingers do 2 things. They go on and they come off. Very often, instead of coming off or releasing the pressure, a finger wants to remain on the string and even tighten up more as the next one plays. Now this is a very crippling way to play and should be prevented right from the beginning. So here we go. We're going to start off with the finger combination 1 and 4. I check my breathing, rest my body, touch my thumb to the string. Okay, I have a heavy arm. I'm going to apply pressure to the string, push through and get the note. Okay, bring the thumb back into position, or the pick. Now I'm going to place my 4th finger on this note, but I'm not going to lift my 1st finger. I'm going to leave it down, but let it lighten up and release its pressure as I place my 4th finger on the string, but it's still touching lightly. I stop, relax, and breathe. I have to be on the lookout also for my 2nd and 3rd fingers. Don't let them be coming up like that. Okay, now I'm going to also make sure my 4th finger is bent at the distal joint and doesn't collapse. And here I go. I'm going to touch the string and push through. Okay, now my thumb is going to just be waiting over the 5th string as I begin to drag my 1st finger now, which is light, and I'm dragging it over to the 5th string. And now I'm going to put all my weight on the finger as I release, and then release. Okay, after the weight's on the finger, I release the 4th finger. Keep it, bring it over the string for its note. Now the 1st finger is in position, firm, thumb is touching. I'm going to begin pressure on the string and relax and push through and sound the note. Now I touch with my 4th finger and begin to lighten up on my 1st finger, touch with a thumb, and I play the note. First finger drags over to the next string. Keep the 4 down with all the weight coming through it. Okay, don't release the weight from the 4th finger yet until the 1 finds the string. And now the weight goes into 1, and now I release 4. Have all the weight on that first finger. Thumb touches. Whoops, almost touched. Thumb touches, plays. Now, 4th finger is light, touches, begins to get firm. 1 begins to lighten up. I'm going to play the note. Now 1 is going to move over, begins to get firm, weight goes through onto the first finger. 4 then lightens up, comes over. My thumb is touching, I'm going to play. 4 touches, gets firm, 1 releases, the thumb touches, applies pressure, and plays. Now index begins to drag over to the 2nd string, places, and at that point I begin to release pressure from the 4th finger. My thumb is on the string and I play. 4th finger touches, 1 releases, and I play. 1 now drags over to the 1st string. The weight goes on it, then 4 releases, thumb touches, plays. 4 touches the string lightly, the weight begins to come through it as it gets firm. 1 begins to release and get light, and I'm going to play the 4th finger. Now I'm going to go back across the strings with 1 and 4. I'm just going to say place 1, play, place 4, play. Remember to keep the weight on the finger until the new finger gets down, then the previous one releases. Here I go. 1 is going to the 2nd string, place and play, place with 4, play, place with 1, play, place with 4, play. Notice the right hand coming along, place with 1, play, place with 4, play, place with 1, play. Notice 2 and 3 staying low, place with 4, play, place with 1, play, place with 4, play. Now we're going to do finger combinations 1 and 3 in the same way. Remember again about the 3rd finger and the 4th finger, how we want the 4th finger to remain steady and quiet as the 3rd goes down. We're going to do a little exercise for that first, a string push down with 3, and you should do a lot of this at random before you practice the 1-3 combination. Get the 1 down with a heavy arm, firm finger, just touch lightly with the 3rd finger, keep the 4 nice and close to the string, and then a string push down. Slowly push the string down with the 3rd finger, watch the 4th finger, and keep it close. If it wiggles, if it squeezes against the 3rd finger, no good, start over again. So, touch with 3, gradual pressure until the string goes from dead to a full note, and you're able to keep that quiet. That's your preparatory exercise. Now we're going to walk across with 1 and 3. It's going to be 1, then 3, 1, then 3. I'll say 1, play, 3, play as we go. And here we go. 1, play, 3, play, 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 1, play, 3, play. Going back now, 1, and remember I placed 1, get the weight on it, then release the weight from 3. Play, 3 touches, play, 1, play, 3, play. Gotta watch watch that 4, keep it in close. 1, play, 3, play, 1, play, 3, play, 1, play, 3, play. Now, finger combination 1 and 2. What I want now is, as I go across, I want to keep 3 and 4 close to the strings, away from fingers 1 and 2. Don't allow them to squeeze over. Get set up with 1 heavy arm, firm finger, right hand. I'm going to say 1, play, 2, play. Remember, we play a note, we play a finger, the light finger touches, gets firm, the other one releases its pressure but stays on the string until it's ready to move to a next string. Here I go. 1, play, 2, play. 1, play, 2, play. 1, play, 2, play. 1, play, 2, play. You have the heavy arm the whole time. 1, play, 2, play. 1, play, 2, play. Going back. 1, play, 2, play. 1, play, 2, play. 1, play. Keep checking the shoulders. 2, play. 1, play, 2, play. 1, play, 2, play. Okay, so we've made it to the end, and that was fun, wasn't it? Now, fortunately, I don't have to go through this again, but you do. What you have to realize is, obviously, there's a lot of detail that's just been presented to you. You are going to have to work with this over and over and constantly reinforce all the millions of details about all the movements, and most importantly, establish the bottom of your practice, your most intense no-tempo practice every day on whatever techniques you happen to be working on. And when you get to the point where you feel like you really have a handle on the whichever particular technique it is you're working on at a no tempo, during your no tempo practice, at that point is when you begin to use the basic practice approach with a metronome, and you're going to build these exercises up. For instance, if you're working with the right hand string shifting exercise, your first goal, well, your starting point in working at is always the 60-4 clicks, as in the 2, 3, 4. That's your first goal, is to make sure that everything goes perfectly at 60-4 clicks. Then it's your next goal, using the basic practice approach through all the speeds that are in the book. The next goal is to reach 60-1 click with all smooth, perfect action. Same thing if you're doing the arpeggio exercises. Your first goal, say it's a 4-note arpeggio, the first goal after no tempo is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. All the fingers looking good. Then the next goal, 60, work it up to 60-1 click. This could take you a few months to get to this point, or maybe just a few weeks. The important thing is always form. The form of your hand has to to be perfect and the perfect relaxation throughout the body. You'll work that up, 8th notes, 16th notes, double that, whatever speed, form is still there. When it comes to the left hand, the same deal. If it's combinations of 1 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect action, and that will take a lot of practice before you're doing everything right with all the details that were mentioned. Next goal, 60 at 1. Okay, now it really doesn't matter how long it takes you to build up to what you would consider a fast speed, because you will get there as long as you do, as long as you do the right kind of practice every day. The quality of your practice, as always, is the most important thing, but I think that's kind of the whole point about the principles of correct practice for guitar. Principle number 1. Your aware, thinking mind is your primary practice tool. Thinking is the creative manipulation of objects of awareness. We maintain and increase awareness through our attention and through our active acquisition, synthesis, application, and review of new knowledge. Principle number 2. In practice and playing, every note is created with the whole mind and the whole body. The body and mind are united in the process of movement, and that union is expressed as the sound we create. Our goal is the total investment of our being, mind and body, into our practice and playing. In our thinking and in our approach, we transcend the concepts created by the mind. We do not think of the body as ultimately separate from the mind. We practice with respect for their connection and inherent unity. We do not divide the parts of the body into the conventional concepts. We do not think of a finger as really separate from the hand, wrist, arm, shoulder, and the whole body. Principle number 3. Control of the fingers is developed by infusing conscious awareness into the body during practice through the mechanism of attention, after the music has entered the body through the mind and the breath. In our process of practice and development, we bring our body under control of our mind and will by constant attention to it, including the breath throughout the process of movement. Over time, the body develops a new awareness and a new intelligence. We learn to play not only with the body, but as the body. Principle number 4. Playing is the application of force to the strings through the process of movement. Our goal is to create the sound through the balanced and appropriate use of passive and active resources in applying force to the strings. Passive resources are weight and momentum, the leverage of these forces through proper use and positioning of the joints, and the solidity of the body itself in holding the guitar, which may change, however slightly, from moment to moment. We leverage these to apply force to the strings. Active resources are muscle contraction. Principle number 5. At the bottom of our practice, we discover how to achieve the proper balance of passive and active resources to use in the movement process of playing and for the application of force to the strings. Through absolute attention to the body during practice, we discover the sensations that characterize the use of weight, momentum, and leverage. Awareness and control of muscle tension and relaxation is the key to this skill. Principle number 6. Correct practice moves us in the direction of skill. Skill is the reconciliation of opposing dynamics to achieve a purpose. We discover the meanings of that reconciliation when our whole mind and whole body are in service to the sound. The unsuccessful reconciliation of opposing dynamics is the cause of muscle tension, which makes playing and progress impossible. If we're practicing correctly, we will always be making progress. That progress, however, may not be evident immediately to the student. We should look for progress by comparing our abilities now with our abilities 3 to 6 months prior. If we ask the question, can I do things now I could not do before, and can I do things more easily now than before, the answer should be yes. If it is not, correct practice is not being done, and/or inappropriate material is being worked on. It's only by our greatest effort that we can discover our discomfort, confront our confusion, and discover new possibilities for solving old problems. Principle number 7. After the means for the reconciliation of opposing dynamics has been discovered, that skill is established in the body through repeated and correct repetitions of the skillful movements. Movement is done from no tempo through slow tempo and up through the tempos. The mind monitors the body to ensure that skill is maintained at each stage of the workup process. Special and repeated emphasis is given to the bottom of our practice, which is our most intense no-tempo practice. It is a place of absolute stillness from which movement is observed, where everything is new, seen and felt and heard for the first time. Principle number 8. Correct form is the foundation of correct movement. Correct form makes relaxed movement possible, and relaxation allows for the maximum use of passive resources in playing. It aligns muscles and joints for effective action. For every required action, there will be a correct form, although that form may be unique to the individual. Principle number 9. We move into correct form through the power of intention. Intention is continually strengthened through the use of attention. It is through our awareness of the requirements of a note or group of notes that the body moves into correct form before force is applied to the string or strings. Principle number 10. At any moment of practice, we must be able to have awareness of any aspect of the playing process. Perfect playing and correct practice require complete awareness of the sound and the physical, mental, and emotional aspects of its production. Principle number 11. We must be aware of the location and condition of inactive fingers while active ones are in use. Exclusive focus on the active fingers is incorrect practice and is the breeding ground for mistakes in playing. Principle number 12. The action, condition, or purpose of one finger must not interfere with the action, condition, or purpose of another finger. Through attention in practice, we develop awareness of the state of each finger, when it is active or inactive, at every moment of the movement process. We also develop awareness of the location and next purpose of each finger. We think about and use this information to develop strategies of movement during playing that will achieve our purposes. Observation and analysis of finger action during practice will reveal the creation and source of playing problems. Principle number 13. Every movement must be seen in the context of the movement to which it leads. Undeveloped players see each movement in isolation. Developed players see all movements in relation to each other and the music. As each finger moves, the end of its movement must bring it to its next necessary destination, unless that is contrary to the production of notes in between. Principle number 14. We must know where the beginning and the end of each note is. There is no such thing as fast and slow notes, only long and short notes. Our awareness of the beginning and end of each note determines the on action and the off action of each finger. Discovering the correct timing of the on and off action of each finger leads us to correct form. Principle number 15. The finger or pick must touch the string before it can play the note, so the finger must be near the string, relaxed and ready, before it finds and touches the string. The whole body plays the note, but it is the finger that communicates with the string and determines exactly what it and the rest of the body must do to create the desired note. Principle number 16. Physical tension causes the withdrawal of awareness and attention, and therefore the withdrawal of desire and intention. This condition is felt as confusion. Physical tension and mental confusion create and sustain each other. Their presence must be brought into awareness by expanding awareness beyond them, rather than contracting and withdrawing awareness because of them. Finally, we must learn to move without the creation of tension and confusion. Principle number 17. Practicing is the process of solving problems. Your ability to confront your confusion and solve problems will be equal to the strength of your desire, awareness, and understanding. Who you are as a person is what you will be as a guitarist and musician. In your path of progress, you will be continually challenged to face the totality of who you are. Not who you think you are, but who you really are. Principle number 18. During practice, understanding and awareness are increased by continually observing effect and tracing back to cause. When problems arise in playing, we quickly bypass and eliminate negative emotional reactions and focus instead on using our minds to observe and analyze what is occurring. We see every event as a result, an effect of prior events, and seek to uncover and understand the causes of those results. We then modify those causes to produce different results. As our ability and confidence in solving problems increases, new problems become a source not of frustration, but of interest and enjoyment. Principle number 19. The fingers are infinitely trainable. The creative mind constantly envisions new possibilities of desirable results, and through correct practice, trains the body to create the causes of those results. Principle number 20. Practice is an ever-deepening activity. It is a continual reaching for the bottom of our practice and continually creates an elevation of our musical selves. When we become capable of correct practice, we truly get better every day. New insights are delivered on a daily basis, and our progress has an intrinsic logic to it. Every new insight leads to the next. You will feel as if every day of practice is a single and precious step in a lifelong journey.